Well, today does not feel good at all for any of us that are following any of these cases, between the Diddy verdict, which just feels so unjust. Obviously, the case was a bad case. It was a bad case. They didn't have the right charges. They didn't have the right proof. And they clearly had enough reasonable doubt that he just was found not guilty on 3 of the 5 counts. And the 2 of the 5 counts were the least important ones. And most likely he'll be walking free on bail, I think, by the end of the day. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. And I'm concerned, even though we have video proof that this man is an abuser and he seems to be quite possibly one of the biggest pieces of shit, and he's going to be walking free. And that's just so sad and so horrible. And they put Cassie up on the stand, and they put Jane Doe on the stand, and they put so many other people, his victims, in harm's way, and they had to speak. And now they're going to have to spend the rest of their lives scared and nervous for what's to come. And he and his family are celebrating out there, and that family is like a freak show family, in my opinion. I mean, what is, oh God, it's just scary to think about. Like, 50 Cent, do something. Next, Kohberger. The Kohberger case brought me to tears. Watching that plea deal live in court this morning for that stone-faced killer just to stand there and just sit there, stand, sit. He did both. Hear his voice for the first time. Admit to killing all 4 of those poor souls, Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie, in 2022 that night, is just so sad and just have no emotion. The prosecutor, the man, I can't remember his name, the one that looks like Santa, I adore him. He was so nice, and he spoke so kindly of the victims. He explained what happened that night, and he even got choked up when he read his names. He was more sad than stone-faced killer Brian Kohberger, serial killer, sociopath, who just stood there. I hope he rots in hell. Rot in hell, okay? Between those 2 cases, it just feels like a sad day in the justice world, right? I'm just like, I'm feeling a little, like, obviously we had Karen Reed, we had this like huge high. If you're on my side of the Karen Reed case, we had this huge high a couple weeks ago, and now it just feels like, oh. And this is why a lot of people don't come forward in the Diddy stuff, you know? But with Kohberger, oh, I'm just devastated for those families. But at the same time, maybe it's, for some of them, it's just good to have it be over. But we're not going to know his sentence, his official sentence, until July 23rd. And that is when the victims will be able to read their victim impact statements. The families will be able to read the victim impact statements, which is just going to be heart-wrenching to hear. But they deserve to read those. And that is that piece of shit, that guy. For what? For what? Anyway, that's the update.